Hello friends, today we have to discuss a very absorbing topic relating to HUF and gifts. HUF itself is something that always creates a huge amount of interest when it comes to tax planning, and so does the subject of gifts. Today we are going to discuss something that is concerning both HUF and gifts in situations where an HUF either receives gift or gives gift to members or non-members of the HUF. What would be the tax implications? In the analysis today, I would try to share with you what is the legal scenario. Let us first of all take the situation of an HUF receiving a gift from a member or a non-member. Now straight away, when an HUF receives a gift from a non-member, it has to be understood that there is no exemption whatsoever except for the amount of 50,000, which is the overall amount of gifts received by the HUF from one or more persons during the entire financial year. So you have to keep in mind that a non-member not being a relative of the HUF, there is no exemption whatsoever, except for situations where the gift is of kind and that gift in kind does not come within the scope of taxability at all. That's a different scenario. But otherwise, you have to keep this in mind. Here, there is one small point which also needs to be clarified. Many a times, the son has his HUF in which he, his wife and children are members, and he thinks that if he receives a gift from his father or mother, because the father or mother are relatives, the gift received by the son's HUF from the father or mother is also exempt. Now this is a clear myth. It's a misunderstanding, because we need to keep in mind that the father or mother are relatives qua the son individually. But as far as the son's HUF is concerned, under section 56(2), the term relative says that in the case of an HUF, any member of the HUF. So if the person who is giving a gift to the HUF is not a member of the HUF, clearly, though is individually related to the HUF, the karta of the HUF, just like I explained, that's a very different scenario. So please don't fall into this trap thinking that if your father or mother gives a gift to your HUF, it will be tax-free. To you individually, tax-free, no problems. But to your HUF, no. Coming to the second aspect, and the more important aspect, that the HUF receives a gift from any of its members. See, for example, there is an HUF, father, mother, say 2 sons. There are 4 members. Any of these members, they give some gift to the HUF. Well, section 56(2), when it came to be amended, and in the scope of the meaning of the term relative, in case of an HUF, a member of the HUF is also treated as a relative. So when a member of the HUF gives a gift to the HUF, there is no taxability or tax liability in the hands of the HUF. However, you need to keep in mind the provisions of section 64, subsection 2. Now 64, as we all understand and it's popularly known, is the clubbing provision. The clubbing provisions under the Income Tax Act, just as under 64(1), an individual is giving a gift to his spouse, or anybody giving a gift to a minor child, these are all liable to be clubbed income even after the gift is liable to be clubbed, though the gift may be exempt. Similarly, under 64(2), the gift per se, the receipt of the gift is not taxable in the hands of the HUF because it has come from a member. But the income arising in the hands of the HUF from such a gift given by the member will be liable to be clubbed with the individual income of the member. This is what you have to keep in mind. And obviously, as you are aware, the logic of the clubbing provisions is that you do not use, the provisions relating to the transfer, that where an individual, say, is in a higher tax bracket and he thinks that by transferring by way of gift some property to the HUF, he can avoid, the liability of the tax on the income arising from this, because the HUF may be either having exempt income or income in a lower bracket. In order that such kind of tax avoidance may not take place, we have the clubbing provisions. So you need to keep this in mind. Now, coming to the second aspect and what we may call as the other side of the coin, where the HUF is giving a gift, again to a non-member or to a member. Let's take up the case of a non-member first. Very simple. In the hands of the non-member, the gift received from this HUF, of course, there could be even issues in relation to whether an HUF can give a gift to a non-member. The aspects under the Hindu law. But we are not getting into that debate right now, presuming that it's a permissible gift within the scope of the Hindu law provisions. As far as the HUF giving the gift to a non-member in the hands of the non-member, such a gift will be clearly taxable, subject to that 50,000 rule, etc. What if the HUF is giving a gift to a member? Say the HUF comprising of father, mother and 2 sons gives a gift to any one of its members, and the amount is more than 50,000, either in cash or in kind if it's a specified gift. What are the tax implications? Here, first and foremost, I need to point out that there is very little law which you can say is settled. Because as far as whether the gift by an HUF to a member would be covered within the scope of exemption under section 56(2) by taking a contention that it is a gift received by the member, because the HUF is to be treated as a relative, and since it is a gift from a relative, there is no tax. Here, as I mentioned, there are 2 divergent opinions of income tax tribunals. There is no decision yet of any high court. What are the 2 views? One stream of thought is, which says that this gift would be taxable. They say that 56(2) exempts a gift where the recipient, being an HUF, receives something from a member, because the member can be said to be a relative of the HUF. But they say, these tribunals has said that vice versa is not true. So when an HUF is giving a gift to the member who is an individual, this view is that it will not be covered within the scope of exemption under 56(2) within the meaning of the term relative. So you have to exercise a little caution. Of course, the good news is there are also tribunals which have taken a view that this would be treated as exempt. They have relied not just on 56(2)'s alternate interpretation, but a very sound and logical interpretation which even appeals to me, and that is that if we invoke the benefit of the provisions of section 10, subsection 2. Now section 10 deals with exempt incomes, and subsection 2 of section 10 says that where a gift it does not talk of a gift as such, but it says where any amount is received from an HUF out of the income of the HUF, or out of the you take a situation where we have scenarios of even partitions taking place. Now, as we are aware, section 47 and the exemptions related thereto exempt in the hands of a member anything that comes by way of partition. Though it is without consideration, it is not treated as taxable. Now, if some routine amount is given by the HUF to a member, a very interesting point of view is, and a stand or a contention that can be taken is, that within the scope of section 10(2), what an individual receives from the HUF, obviously it is from either the income or even the accumulated income of the HUF, then that amount the individual can claim, instead of resorting to the provisions of section 56(2), can say that this is exempt under section 10(2). In that case, you may say this is a distribution of income by the HUF rather than this is a gift received from the HUF. After all, though Shakespeare may have said what is there in the name, there is certainly much in the name, whether you call something as a gift or you call something as a distribution, you call something as a gift, or in the context of clubbing provisions, we often say that this is not a gift, it's a loan, and therefore clubbing provisions will not apply. A very interesting and absorbing situation for you to consider lawfully, and that makes income tax and tax planning so interesting. That's for today.